AI is going to displace so many people. You know, when you do like the self-tag at the airport, it makes sense, right? You don't need as many people ticketing, you use automation, but then you're supposed to take your ticket. So I go and I hand the lady my little sticker and I hand her my suitcase and she's like, no, you need to put the sticker on the suitcase. I'm like, okay, that's fine. Why are you here? Well, I'm here to supervise that you put the sticker on the suitcase. And I looked at her, I was like, you will be replaced by AI. And the reason I said that to her is because...
You told her that?
Yeah, straight up.
Dude, I love
It's funny. It's funny because, and it's true, she looked at me like, what? Like, she's like, wait, what? Like, didn't make sense. But I said it to her because it made sense. It made sense that the value that she provides to her company can be replaced by automation. The level of intelligence that it's going to be able to have long term, not short term. I think that there's an extensive period of growth. What we're seeing right now is sort of like ground rules, and you see this automation kind of playing because sometimes Chat GPT does some dumb stuff, right?
Yeah.
And it plays within the sandbox of the creator. So the creator sets the rule set, right, as to how the AI can process information and what it can't talk about or can't touch. As they begin to expand kind of the API, or other companies begin to develop their own products, and as entrepreneurs and like us that are kind of like on more of a come up stage and not that established big organization kind of structure, which I personally don't really enjoy anyway, we can start creating, as tools become more available, we can create our own AI and train our own AI. Because if you want to compete in 2040, you think you're going to be competing with human mental power? No, dude. You have to be competing with your AI, with your robots, with your automations, with your softwares, because that's where the future is headed, and it's going to be huge. And if you're not on it, you're going to miss out. So the skill set now is not just blue collar that's going to be replaced. I think white collar is going to be replaced.
Doctors, lawyers, way
faster than blue collar, because
important.
It's, dude, creating, it's not just AI, but you need to create robots and machinery to power what would be manual labor. You need not only software, you need hardware. But on white collar, dude, most of this stuff is now digital. You only need software. You do not need to go into hardware necessarily. So I think a lot of these jobs are going to get just absolutely demolished. Dude, you will not need consultants anymore. You can consult the most intelligent consultant there is, right? If you teach it that way. But I think people need to start utilizing it. If not, they're going to be left behind. I think it's powerful. How you can participate per se in kind of like the AI revolution, we'll call it, is you need to start, if you're an entrepreneur per se, you need to start building companies of the future.
Okay.
Technology is accelerating so quickly that if you're building companies of today, tomorrow they'll become irrelevant. So you need to build companies of the future. You need to build companies that are going to be relevant tomorrow, and that the evergreen period before that becomes irrelevant is extensive. For example, the first introduction of the internet. If you started building products and companies when the internet started, before AI or crazy automations were introduced, you had what, 20 years, 15 years, a pretty decent gap right there to build. I think we're going to have a decade where AI is still very, yeah, for sure. We don't know the capacity that currently exists. True. And the fact that what is currently publicly available is so powerful, dude, you have no idea. If you think what they released in the public is the actual stuff, they gatekeep 99.9% of stuff. So the amount of power that's already scary out there, it is scary. And if you look at, for example, BlackRock uses an AI called Aladdin to do forecasting and predictions. And they've had this model being developed over the last several years, and that beats and trumps every other software and automation and any other person that's playing the game. Software and robots. Naval Ravikant talks about it. He says, we're using bots and automation. They're all like little micro workers and employees that do not sleep. They do not rest. They're there 24/7. They don't complain. They do what you tell them to do, and they're reliable. That's super powerful, and that's going to rule out a ton of people. There's a few things that I think are extremely important that I think AI and technology will never be able to replace, which is human connection, which is community, and emotional connections. I think that like transcend momentary like happiness. I'm talking about deep relational, emotional connections. I think that these also create culture, right? Culture is dictated and created by people. And I think that there's a human factor and a human element that allows the world to go round. And even if AI is created, and yes, it learns by itself in the near future, it teaches itself, it has an origin point. And that origin point has biases. right? Because it's been created by somebody that is set it in such a way where, for example, you go to ChatGPT now and you ask for something and it says, it could tell you literally, my creators do not allow me to go beyond this border, or this is not something safe. Well, who told you that it's not safe? My creators told me that it's not safe, right? So you always have that bias, preconceived data that comes in that could potentially inflict pendulum swings where AI isn't neutral, which is the ideal utopia, but I never see it really becoming neutral. Well, I think it's very simple. It's been happening since the dawn of kind of controlled civilizations, which is you need to keep your citizens and your slaves, you need to keep them in check, right? And the best way to keep them in check is to keep them weak. And we've kind of transitioned from manual labor kind of being the main force of slavery to now it being more of like mental and energetic and time-based consumption. And the system kind of realized, me beating a slave with a whip, I'm not getting the most out of him, right? So what do I have to do? I'm going to trick him. I'm going to deceive him into, we can talk about the entire money system. Yeah. But circling back, I just think people need to, if you're an 18-year-old, I think you need to be developing skills.
Do social skills become more important?
Yeah, bro, social skills, because now you're interacting with people, and the people that understand how the game is played, they understand that everything is built in rooms with people, right? And they are the ones that are deciding. Whether it's in 100 years that AI is going to be the deciding factor, I don't know. There's an anime called Psycho-Pass that I recommend everybody watch, and it's this AI that is like 100 or 1,000 brains of different people of society, criminals, billionaires, peasants, everything, and it forms what is supposed to be the controlled neutral mind, but it's not neutral. It's extremely biased. And in the anime, it kind of shows you that entire narrative of a credit system, of a mental check, of a daily pill that they need to consume to manage their mental level and their mood. So civilization has always flourished when the working class are subjugated and they are enslaved, and that's how you build societies. Unfortunately, societies are built on the back of slaves, and today we just have modern day slaves.